Welcome back to another Pokemon Throwback Thursday, where every Thursday morning we take a deep dive into a vintage set. We are going in complete order. So the set we are checking out today is XY Primal Clash. And we are doing a new thing now where every single Throwback Thursday we highlight one Pokemon and we look at their greatest cards in Pokemon history. We've done some awesome Pokemon: Umbreon, Charizard, Blastoise, Venusaur, Mew, Dragonite. And today we are doing Rayquaza. So let me know down below what Pokemon you want to see next. And we do have to give a big thanks to our video sponsor real quick, and that is Platinum Protectors. If you guys have any collectibles that you guys want to display and protect, Platinum Protectors has got you covered. They have cases for action figures, comic books, diecast, Funko Pops, trading cards, and video games. Tons of different stuff for trading cards, even Lorcana, One Piece. Cheaper stuff where you're literally paying a couple dollars a case, or the more expensive, really nice stuff where it's like about $20 a case. And then too, if you hit the link in my description, you'll receive 10% off your first order of $50 or more. So definitely check them out. All right, let's get into it. Checking out Primal Clash, 160 cards plus 4 secret rares. Came out February 4th, 2015. Pretty big fan of this set. Now, these to me are illustration rares. Even though, you know, they're literally a few dollars a piece. But I think they're super nice. And no joke, they're illustration rares. Swampert, I mean, some pretty solid Pokemon. But this set does have Kyogre and Groudon. So a pretty stacked set. Not my favorite set in the XY era. That's coming soon. And then look, even like the Nidoqueen. You can't tell me that this is not an illustration rare. Like, why would this not be technically an illustration rare? I know it's not technically an IR, but, you know, it's got beautiful scene in the background. These were the first of the first. I have all those, and they're still very, very cheap. And there's a bunch in this set. But yeah, let's get to the good stuff here. So we got full arts, you know, the Kyogre, that's one of the best full arts of Kyogre. Groudon, Gardevoir, Aggron, Sharpedo. We got the Mega Gardevoir, we got a few gold cards. But yeah, let's take a little bit of a closer look. So yeah, the texture on these full art cards are just crazy. And the colors too, I mean, that Wailord pops, the Kyogre, this thing is crazy. Primal Kyogre, I love the pink and stuff in this card. Got the Groudon. You can just see the texture in the picture even. I wish they would give our cards a little bit more texture. Primal Groudon, Sharpedo, Aggron, Mega Aggron, Gardevoir, Mega Gardevoir, Archie's Ace in the Hole, some trainers, Maxie's Hidden Ball Trick, Professor Birch's Observations, and we got Teammates, and then our gold cards, Dive Ball, Enhanced Hammer, and Switch. And I know these don't seem crazy, but in person, these gold cards really pop. All right, checking out some prices. The Primal Groudon is the most expensive, followed by Kyogre, and then Kyogre's full art. We're going to hop to eBay here and check some recently sold listings. So the full art Sharpedo, $30. We got the Mega Gardevoir. This is number 156 at a CGC 8.5 for 200 or best offer. Got a Primal Groudon. This is the cheaper one, only 25. The textured Mega Aggron for 80. The cheaper Aggron for 20, 12, 13. Got the regular Groudon EX for 15. Teammates for 20. Gardevoir Full Art for 40. And what else do we got? The Mega Aggron in a 9. The textured one for $286. Then we got a Primal Groudon. That is not the correct one. This one I actually like a lot more, and that's going to be one of my favorite sets in the XY era. Here we got the Kyogre for 182, Trevenant for 10. We got the Kyogre full art. Doesn't look super nice with a big crease for $30. This card is pretty expensive if you want it really, really minty. See if there's anything else crazy. We got a near mint Groudon full art for $81, 34 bids. Not too bad. But all right, let's check out some big boy sales here. We got the Primal Groudon EX number 151. Last sold probably about 4 or 5 months ago, $5,000 in a PSA 10. Next, we have the Primal Kyogre. Last sold a couple months ago, $5,101. These cards have very low pops, don't come up for sale very often. The Full Art Kyogre EX, last sold $3,000, about 4 or 5 months ago. Next, we got the Mega Aggron EX. This is the textured one. Last sold $2,900, and that was also 5-6 months ago. Next, we got the Mega Gardevoir. Could not find any recent sales. It says it was $400, but that was literally a few years ago, so I'm sure it's worth way more now. Next, we got the Full Art Groudon, just sold for $4,750 in a PSA 10 in August. Next, we have the Primal Kyogre. It's a cheaper one, non-textured. Last sold for $550. Next, we got the Full Art Gardevoir. Last sold at the end of last year for $993. I'm sure that one's going for way more now. And then we got the Primal Clash booster pack. Last sold 45, 65, 50, 40, 45, 51, 20. You know, it's definitely going to range on the condition for sure. A lot of these packs are pretty rough, but still pretty affordable for booster packs, to be honest. And then we have the Primal Clash booster box. Last sold 2,584, and that was just a few days ago. There is a sale at 4K. You know, it's really going to range depending on the condition of the box. Even just a couple dents or whatever can change it hundreds and hundreds of dollars. That's why I'm always so adamant about getting super clean boxes. I know right now, you know, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but in the future, it can literally almost mean thousands of dollars sometimes. Next, the Primal Clash ETB. And there is a red Groudon one and a blue Kyogre one. We got a Kyogre sale here for 4K, a Groudon one for 4,490, another Kyogre one for 3,100, Kyogre for 5K, Groudon for 4,400. Yeah, the ETB is worth double the booster box. Isn't that kind of crazy? It's just so much more rare. All right, we are getting into some Rayquazas here. So these are all the Rayquaza cards in the Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet era. He really did not get any love in the Scarlet and Violet era, but got a good amount in Sword and Shield. These are the top three, with the Trainer Galar recently going crazy. Market price 141, the highest that card has ever been. And then the Rayquaza V, market price 283. And then, of course, the V Max, market price 667. And there is a Prize Pack Series V Max if people collect Prize Pack. And then we do have the Mega reprint from Celebrations, market price 62. That one's getting expensive. We got a VMAX Rainbow for 50 bucks. The full art from Evolving Skies for 33. Even the black and gold trainer galleries, which were always literally $2 to $10, market price 23. And even the Amazing Rare, market price $22. And then we got some regular VMAXs and basic Vs. Nothing too crazy. This Sword and Shield promo is pretty nice. It was $1 for the longest time. Now it's $5. Still affordable, but definitely a shot up. All right, let's get into it. Rayquaza has some amazing mega cards. So this card is from Ancient Origins, which Ancient Origins is the set that I like a lot more than Primal Clash. Last sold raw 512, 535, 500. Wow, 1,150, 1,000, 215, 700. And we do have a PSA 10 sale here at $6,000. All right, next we have another Mega Rayquaza. This is from Roaring Skies. Pretty low pop, only 114 in a 10 and 558 in a 9. Last sold raw 299, 299, 203, 96, 200, 112. Then we got a PSA 10 sale here, which was last month at $12,000. And I'm sure you're wondering why it's so much more, but, you know, this just has a really low pop. 114 pop compared to this Mega Rayquaza, which has 687. So that makes a big difference for sure. Next, we have another Mega Rayquaza card, so again from Roaring Skies. Similar pop. Last sold raw 69, 25, 30, 40, 85. Much easier to pull, but I think it looks super nice. And last sold in a PSA 10 last month, $2,075. Next, we have the actual Mega Rayquaza from Roaring Skies, which is what the Celebrations card is reprinted from. Again, same pop. All the Roaring Skies cards are going to be around the same. Last sold raw 58, 35, 65. Got a PSA 9 at 106. So almost the same price as the actual one from Celebrations, which is crazy. And then we got a PSA 10 sale here at 1,875, which was this month. Next, we got the Rayquaza GX Rainbow from Celestial Storm. He's got a couple really nice rainbows. Not too hard to grade, but 505 in a 10, 478 in a 9. Last sold raw 100, 110, 56, 65, 180. We got a PSA 10 sale at 1,100 and 1,150. Next, we have the shiny promo for Hidden Fates. This thing is sweet, going up in price. Last sold raw 90, 200, 95, 95. PSA 9 at 202, 164, and a PSA 10 at 599 and 560. Next, now I know this is just a basic GX, but look at that art. I mean, it's got the whole world behind him. I mean, it almost covers the full card. I think it's a super cool GX card. Last sold raw 20, 25, 5, 11, PSA 9 at 23, and then we got a 10 at 420, 291, and 159. That is quite the jump. Seeing if that's all from the same set. Looks like it is. Next, we have the full art from Dragons Exalted. Such a cool background on that card. Last sold raw 100, 300, 115, 624, 550, 200, and then we got a PSA 10 sale, which was a while ago at the beginning of 2024 at 2,520. That card has a pretty low pop, only 13 in a 10. Next, we have the full art Rayquaza EX from Roaring Skies. Again, crazy low pop, only 35 in a 10, 287 in a 9. Last sold in a 9, 584, otherwise raw, 70, 69, 130, 150. And then we got a PSA 10 sale, which was this month at $7,200. And make sure you let me know down below which one is your favorite Rayquaza card from this list. And next, we got another full art Rayquaza. This is from Celestia Storm. Never been a fan of this one. The background, I felt like it's just so plain and bugged me. And it has a pop of 426 in a 10 and 327 in a 9. Last sold raw, 65, 36, 40. We got a PSA 10 at 999 and 890. All right, next we have one of my favorite cards on the list, and still super undervalued in my opinion. And these are the Legend cards, some of the best art ever in Pokemon history. It does take 2 cards to make the complete picture. That's why I love to use like the 4 pocket binder for this set. I actually have it right here. I'll show you real quick so you guys can see, because it looks so much nicer when they're actually connected. Let's see if there's the Rayquaza right there. But yeah, it looks so clean. You can't tell me that does not look crazy nice. But only as a pop of 20 in a 10, 179 in a 9. We got a PSA 9 sale 580. Otherwise raw 70, 55, 200, 175, 66, 110. You can usually find this card for a little over $100 in decent condition. And then we got a PSA 10 sale, which was a while ago at 1,479. They do not come up very often. And then we have the bottom part, which I know doesn't look that crazy, but like I said, they go together. And it's got the oxys in there. Last sold raw 100, 68, 30, 110, 80. And then we got a PSA 10 sale, which was even longer ago at 1,136. Worth way more now. All right, we were checking out a couple shiny Rayquazas. This is from Call of Legends. If you guys did not know, you can literally just type in Pokemon SL, and it will show all of the Call of Legends shiny cards. It's a super cool set. Crazy tough to grade, 23 and a 10. Last sold raw, 385, 350, 499, 500 for a lightly played. This card is very expensive. And then we even have a PSA 10 sale at $12,499. And what's so cool about Call of Legends, it's literally legendary Pokemon. So all of the shinies, I mean, just check that out. All legendary shiny Pokemon with the best energies we've ever got in Pokemon history. One of my all-time favorite sets. Next, we have another shiny Rayquaza. This is from Dragons Exalted. Only has a pop of 30 and a 10. Last sold in a 9, 1,126. 1325. Then raw 190, 269, 300, 450. And then we got a PSA 10 sale, which a couple months ago, $7,500. Looks like the high was $9,500. Next, we have the Shining Rayquaza from Shining Legends. Pretty high pop, but kind of tough to grade. 2,500 in a 10, 4,200 in a 9, 1,300 in a 8. Just started to go up in price recently. Last sold raw 60, 55, 44, 60, 70. Fun little set to complete. I think we got a PSA 10 sale down here at 462 and a PSA 9 at 155. Next, we have the Rayquaza from Emerald. Love this card, and you guys know I'm always going to put the reverse hollows up here. They're my favorite with the stamp. Insanely low pop, says 5. And then we got raw at 60, 40, 35. PSA 9 at 750, 575, 625. And I could not find a recent PSA 10 sale for that card, as you could guess. Next, one of my favorite cards on the list. This is from Holland Phantoms. This is a Delta Species card. Again, reverse hollow with that beautiful stamp. Pop of 51 in a 10, 132 in a 9. Last sold raw 95, 299, 299, 315, 199. And then we have a PSA 10 sale here, which was this month at $10,000. And that was for the reverse hollow. Yep. Next, we got the Rayquaza C card. This is the Cracked Ice promo. There's an actual card you can pull from the list, which we'll check in a second. But this one, pretty expensive raw. 120, 132, 45 for modelly played, 100, 227 for near mint. Couldn't find a PSA 10 sale for this card. And then here is the actual card from Supreme Victors, We got a PSA 10 sale at $1,615 not too long ago, last month. Next, the Pop Series 1 Rayquaza. Look at that art. Look at that face. Just looks mean. Last sold raw, 12, 20, 10, 7. PSA 9 at $144, and then we have a 10 at $1,700. Next, my other favorite Delta Species card, also from Holland Phantoms. Pop of 24 at a 10, 145 at a 9. Last sold raw, 150, 95, 70, 100. PSA 9 at $995, 612, and we got a 10 at $4,499. Next, we have another Delta Species. This one is from Delta Species. And last sold raw, 77, 139, 89. We got a PSA 9 at $899, 1,000, and then a PSA 10 at $5,100. Next, we have the Rayquaza from Deoxys. This is the reverse holo stamped one. Love the background on this one, kind of trippy. Last sold raw, 40, 143, 70, 60, PSA 9 at $450, $850, and a PSA 10, which was a few months ago at $6,000. Next, we have the C Level X. There is another one. I think it's a promo. I think he's just turned a different way. I didn't even add it, but this is a pop of 45 and a 10, 280 and a 9. That sold raw, 140, 175. PSA 9 at 808. Another one at 867. And we have a PSA 10 sale in July at $7,000. All right, next we have another Rayquaza. This is from Dragon Frontiers, and it's another Delta Species. I genuinely think Rayquaza has the best Delta Species lineup. I mean, the cards are just insane. Pop of 63 and a 10, 262 and a 9, and last sold raw, 250, 130, 99. PSA 9 at 830, 819, and a 10 at $3,900. Next, we have the Rayquaza EX from Deoxys. PSA 10 pop of 40, 223 and a 9, 243 and an 8. Last sold raw, 132, 63, 115. We got a 9 at $1,399 and $1,200. And we have a PSA 10 sale a few months ago at $4,350. Next, one of my all-time favorite Rayquaza cards, like legit top 3. Just check that art out. The border's awesome. It's just so nice in person. If you find a really clean version of this, it's insane. But yeah, Black Star promo, pop of 48 in a 10 and 283 in a 9. Last sold raw, 147, 90, 85, 120, 250. And then we got a PSA 10 sale here at $5,100. Next, we got our e-reader card from EX Dragon. Pop of 129 and a 10, 513 and a 9. Last sold raw, 190, 100, 200, 425. We have a PSA 10 sale at $6,000, and before that it was at $5,000. Next, the king of all Rayquaza cards, the Gold Star Rayquaza from EX Deoxys. Pop of 47 and a 10, 235 and a 9, 207 and an 8. If you guys are Rayquaza fans, I'm not even joking. This is as good as it gets. Last sold raw, $9,000, 8,668, 8,676, 8,800. PSA 8 at 16,000. We got a raw at 6,100, 5,200, 5,900. Let's check the all-time. Let's see how cheap this card was back in the day. So yeah, it jumped up in 2020, 2021. But before that, I mean, we got a PSA 9 sale here at $959. I'm happy I bought mine a very, very long time ago. And I could not find any recent PSA 10 sales. We do have one in 2023 at $48,598. We do have some recent PSA 9 sales at $25,000 and $23,000. So yeah, very expensive card. Japanese does have one too, not as expensive or as rare, but their PSA 10 is selling for $27,600. Let me know down below, do you guys like the silver border Gold Star Rayquaza or the yellow border Gold Star Rayquaza? I'm going yellow border just because that's what I'm used to, and I feel like the little yellow in Rayquaza looks nice, but they both look good. All right, we're going to move to some Japanese exclusives, and then we're going to end on a couple sealed products. So this is one of my favorite cards on the list. This is the 2015 Hoopa promo card, number 155. This thing is stacked with Pokemon. Last sold raw, 80, 50, 43. We got a near mint for 125 and a sealed one for 187. And here is the close-up picture. We got a Mega Rayquaza right up the top. And then we got Lugia, Pikachu. I mean, the card is honestly stacked. One of my all-time favorite cards for sure. And then we have another X and Y promo. Love the Rayquaza and Pikachu stamp on this card. This thing is sick. And last sold for this one. It says PSA 10 of 1,000, 810, 1100, but it doesn't have any info on it, so I'm not 100% sure. And then raw 109, 67, 88, 130, 320, 80. And then we got a PSA 9 at $500. And then we have some sealed products. So we have this new VMAX box, which I think it has Duraludon on the other side. Not my favorite. And then, you know, Rayquaza has a tin, has an EX box, which has a big jumbo. I don't think we actually checked this promo today. I didn't check every single Rayquaza card because there is so many, so I left out some of the more plain looking ones, but this collection box is sick. I love the figure in that one. And then we are checking out some more sealed product. We got the Celestial Storm ETB. If you guys are a Rayquaza fan, this is a must get for your sealed collection. It's also one of the best looking ETBs in Pokemon history. What else do we got? We got the Hidden Fates Premium Powers Collection. Comes with that really nice Rayquaza promo card and the jumbo. And like I said, Celestial Storm, you know, has a bunch of Rayquaza pack arts and stuff. And then got a really nice Arena Battle deck, which I'm guessing connects to another deck. They usually do, as you can see, like the letter here. So yeah, kind of like this battle deck here. As you can see, the V is on one and the S is on the other. Keldeo versus Rayquaza. So this is kind of the same thing. But I like this one a lot more than this one with Keldeo. But I think that's about it. Yeah, we got another little V battle box here. But my favorite thing would definitely be the ETB probably. And then, yeah, this little figure collection down here. I think that thing really looks nice. But all right, that was today's Pokemon Throwback Thursday. If you guys like this content, please make sure you subscribe. Hit that notification bell, leave a like and comment. And like I said, let me know down below what Pokemon you want to see next. So what I'm thinking is when we start doing not as popular Pokemon, I might do like their whole evolution line. Like let's say Poliwrath. You know, I might look up all the most popular Poliwag cards, Poliwhirl cards, and Poliwrath cards. So if you guys want to see a whole evolution line, let me know down below. And of course, if you guys want to support more, you guys can check out my Instagram, my TikTok, or my YouTube membership. It's only 99 cents a month. And if you guys are watching this right now, I recorded this a little bit early, so if there's any new sales, I missed it because I'm going to be at Card Party in Seattle. So if you guys are coming, definitely come say hello. And then also, if you guys want to watch my last Pokemon What If Wednesday, click this video here. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.